It's time for your daily dose of all things Chicago sports. This is the Daily Score. Now, here's your host, Mark Grote.
Hi, welcome into the podcast. It's the Daily Score. I am Mark Grote, and we are coming at you from Haugh today inside the NFL Network studios. And we are definitely talking about the Chicago Bears as they continue to get ready for their Sunday nighter at the Los Angeles Chargers. And as you remember earlier this week, we were playing Jaylen Johnson with Parkins and Spiegel on the Score, talking about his contract status. That was on Monday. 2 days later now, Jaylen Johnson was by his locker, and a lot of reporters, including yours truly, very interested in to find out what the latest was with Jaylen Johnson and his contract.
Jaylen, has there been any progress with your representatives and the Bears on a potential contract extension? Where do things stand right now?
We're going to see by the end of this weekend. I know at the end of the day, it's all that he said, she said. We're in talks, not in talks. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to see if something gets happened or something gets done by the trade deadline. If I happen to get traded, I get traded. If not, then I get extended, hopefully. And then if not, then I just got to continue to play out. There's plenty of options that this can go in. But, I mean, we're all going to see. I'm waiting to see as well.
How much does the trade deadline coming up weigh on you as you end this weekend? You think about it a lot at all or not at all?
No, I sleep great at night.
Are you happy? Are you happy with the way the talks have gone?
No, I feel like been slower than what I would expect. Of course, we want something as early as possible. Of course, heading into the season and things like that, but not really caught up in just exactly how I want it. But just hoping that it plays out the way it needs to.
Why?
In terms of the negotiations, what do you want? Like, what are the things that would satisfy you?
Security. That's what all this is. That's what we play the game for, security. And at the end of the day, a lot of it goes back to respect as well. At the end of the day, it's not just about taking anything as well. I mean, you can throw some numbers at somebody and just hope they take anything, but that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking for respect and security at the end of the day.
So why are things moving slowly? Have you put a number down that you want and you're waiting to hear from the Bears? Like, what does it mean that things are moving slowly?
I would say things are moving slowly. Things haven't been done. Things aren't finalized. So, I mean, just for me, just waiting to see where it goes on both ends. So,
when people ask you, do you think you're going to get traded or do you think you're going to get extended? What is it, 50-50? What is your thought process on the lean?
We're going to see by the 31st. I don't have a thought process. We all going to see. I'm waiting to see because somebody can say one thing and you believe it and then something else happens. I mean, we seen what happened to McCaffrey and they told him we weren't going to trade him at 11:59. So I don't believe really hardly anything I'm told. I'm going off actions.
I got to tell you, one thing about all of this is I have not heard, other than here in our Bears bubble and Jaylen Johnson and reporters locally, I don't really hear too many people talking about Jaylen Johnson being traded. Like, I haven't heard rumors of other teams being interested. It doesn't mean that there's not teams, but usually you hear something substantial, and there really hasn't been. So my gut is that he's not going to get traded. Now it just becomes a question of whether or not Ryan Poles wants to extend him now or wait until the season is over. Because while it's not unprecedented, obviously, to give guys extensions in the middle of the season, it's rare. It's rare. So we'll see. I still think he deserves it. I don't think that you pay him like an elite cornerback, but I do think that he's a very good cornerback. And one of the things, too, that really drives me crazy in this day and age, and it's coaches that do this, and I guess pundits and all of us as well, that somehow if you're not getting 5 or 6 interceptions a year, that you're not a number one corner. And I'm thinking, isn't the number one job of a cornerback to stop wide receivers, to guard the number one guy on the opposing team? I don't know, just like it almost sounds lazy sometimes when you hear even Matt Eberflus at the beginning of the year talking about Jaylen Johnson. How, we want more turnovers. I get it. Smart. It's the right thing. Everybody wants more turnovers. But I think a guy can get paid, or especially at that position, because cornerback and quarterback, both the CB positions, the two hardest positions in my opinion. So especially in this day and age of the NFL, if if you're good at covering, maybe you need to take a new look at what the standard should be for cornerbacks. I want to make it very clear, too, that I ain't carrying water for Jaylen Johnson. I don't like ultimately, of course, to me it would seem to fit to have this guy as part of your core for a long time. But it's just sometimes it's perplexing to me that we don't talk more about the actual coverage ability, and we just look at the stats and say, oh God, he's only had 3 interceptions in his 3+ years in the NFL, and so that's not good enough. I mean, to me, that's almost dumb. So that's the latest on Jaylen Johnson, and we'll see where it continues to go as time goes on. All right, let's move on. Guess what? Roschon Johnson back. He is cleared to play. He is cleared concussion protocol. Full participant in practice, assuming there is no funny stuff. He will be playing Sunday night in Los Angeles, and we talked to Roschon Johnson today.
Yeah, I feel 100%. I had a great, training staff and the doctors, kind of helping me through the whole protocol process. That was the first time I ever, experienced something like that, so I'm just glad to be back.
Unfortunately, you couldn't be part of the running performance last week, but what did you think of the way you guys ran the ball?
I was excited just to see those guys go out there and execute. I knew what type of unit we had in the running back room and in the O-line room, and I knew we can go out there and execute at a high level, and I was just happy to see those guys go out there and do that.
Roshan, what was his first start?
I wasn't surprised, honestly. He's a real confident guy, and I told him before that game earlier that week that I had confidence in him, and I had faith that he was going to go out and ball, and he did just that. So,
do you feel like you're going to have to wrestle back playing time from D'Onta Foreman, considering how effective he has been?
Yeah, we got a great running back room. Regardless of who you put back there, I feel like we can all go out there and produce. And he did what he's supposed to do. So, I'm supporting him 100%. At the end of the day, coach is going to put whoever he wants. So, my job, I'm just taking it a day at a time and just do what I can.
It is going to be interesting to see what happens when Khalil Herbert returns and they are back at full strength, hopefully, at running back. When, you'll have Roschon, you'll have Khalil, you'll have D'Onta Foreman, you'll have Travis Homer. They can't deactivate Foreman at this point. They really can't. And I do think that Roschon is going to have to earn some carries back. Really, Foreman and Johnson are similar in style, quite frankly. I think Johnson's still a better blocker and maybe a little faster, but there's a similar physical style. So, yeah, look, with D'Onta Foreman, I think you just keep using that until it fizzles out, if it even does. Go with the hot hand. So that's Roschon Johnson. That's the headline is that he's back. That's good. Let's get to Luke Getsy, the Bears offensive coordinator. And the one thing that I was most interested in is hearing what he would say about the offensive line. And if Darnell Wright was back in practice Wednesday, limited shoulder and toe, and I did see him kind of moving gingerly in the locker room. So I'm almost more worried about the toe than the shoulder at this point, to be honest with you. But there are some what-ifs on the offensive line. Here's Luke Getsy.
Darnell Wright can't go. Can you move Borum to that spot? Use Tevin? What are your options? Can Borum go into that spot?
Yeah, well, we've explored a bunch of different options over the last few weeks because we've been kind of, in flux as far as what may happen through the week, and so bunch of different options that we have, and we're exploring them all. And so there's not necessarily just one particular way we can go with that.
Is Tevin an option to tackle at either tackle, even though he's been moved around a lot? Maybe that's good. Maybe it makes him more versatile. But is he an option at either tackle spot in a potential scenario?
Yeah, Tevin's capable of doing whatever, all that stuff. Mentally, he can handle all that stuff, and physically, obviously, we know the talent that Tevin is. So Tevin's someone that is capable of moving wherever we would need him to move to.
Sure, you've heard questions about Bajan's arm strength. Can he make all the throws? Does he have a strong arm?
Yes and yes, I guess would be the answer to that. We have complete confidence in Tyson and whatever that. Yes, I guess that's a simplified answer.
He's got a cannon.
He's got a cannon.
The mystery of Tyson Bajan's arm. I guess we'll find out. We don't know. He says he's got a cannon. The evidence suggests that they don't think he's got a strong arm because Nathan Peterman came in to throw the Hail Mary at the end of the first half. So, and I just keep bringing this up because ultimately, if Tyson Bagent's going to make it in the NFL and is a starter down the road in his life, if he's going to get there, he's got to show the ability to throw downfield. Obviously, you can't just be a game manager in this day and age and necessarily get a QB1 spot in this league. So I'm doing it all for Tyson. Lastly, Richard Hightower is the special teams coach of the Chicago Bears. He is always entertaining with us, and he was particularly entertaining with us today.
There was a blocked PAT. What was your diagnosis on that?
Thank you, by the way, because I won a bet.
What?
I won a bet because people bet me that was going to be the first question. So I won. So I'm good there. We won last week, and I won today.
Who made the
protection? You can't tell who bet. You can't say who.
We've gotten onto a more interesting topic here. What else do you guys bet on?
Let me.
Players betting you, or is it the other coaches?
It was no players involved in that bet. There was no players involved in that bet.
The league rules you got to worry about here.
Yeah, no, yeah.
What'd you win?
Somebody has to do 10 push-ups. I don't have to do the push-ups, so I won.
Richard Hightower, ladies and gentlemen. I just love picturing the coaches sitting backstage, because we're in our little media area, and they're all in their wings of Hallis Hall, and so they're all making bets on what we're going to ask and talking about it. Hey, it's all good. I mean, we talk about them, so if they can't talk about us, I don't know what the hell we're doing here. So always good to hear from Richard Hightower, who they call HT. He is HT for sure. Thank you all for listening to this edition of the Daily Score. Appreciate all your listenership and the kind things you do and you say for the Daily Score. For Ray Diaz, I am Mark Grote. I will talk to you tomorrow.